Learn about the strides female entrepreneurs of color are making. Be inspired by their story and enlightened by their leadership, insight, and advice.
Welcome to She Leads Podcast, Season 5, Episode 5. I'm your host, Nicole Walker, a mother, businesswoman, and leader. Our guest for today is Genecia Alluora. Genecia Alluora is former Miss Singapore and Southeast Asia Women of Excellence 2010. She is the founder of Soul Rich Woman, the #1 female entrepreneur network in Southeast Asia that connects more than 12,000 women across the region with presence in 7 countries, including Singapore, Malaysia, the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia. The Soul Rich Woman Network helps women build their brand and online reputation for more customers, confidence, and credibility, while making a positive impact in the world. Prior to this, she was an owner of a cafe retail chain with presence in 3 countries and successfully exited to a public listed company. Genecia has been profiled in CNBC and China Daily. Genecia is also an expert public speaker and has spoken in recent major events, including the RISE Conference in Hong Kong, Successful Conference and Expo in Asia 2018, and National Achievers Congress in Manila.
Without further ado, Leadership Empowerment with Genecia Alluora.
Genecia, welcome to She Leads Podcast, Leadership Empowerment for Women of Color. We appreciate you blessing us with your insight today.
Thanks for having me on your show.
You're welcome. So I read your bio, and I want to say kudos to you for founding the first female entrepreneur network in Southeast Asia to connect more women internationally. I think that's awesome and very much needed.
Yes, in fact, we do provide resources for women like yourself to bridge into Southeast Asia.
Nice. I love it. Okay. All right. So are you ready to talk about leadership?
Yep. Let's hit it.
Okay. So I myself feel that every person is a leader in one shape or form, whether they realize it or not. Would you agree, Genecia?
I would say definitely, because for Soul Rich Women, we believe in the F word, which is for women who love the F word, being fabulous, having freedom and financial independence. And every single area, every single pillar, there is an opportunity for women to lead in her life. She could be the chief family financial officer or the chief family food officer, So there is always a way and opportunity for women to lead in every single area. But we advocate and we stand for women having it all. That means you can have freedom, you can have financial independence, and you can be fabulous all at the same time. So we want to bring forth what we call leadership and let women shine through their potential and the opportunities so that they can really be and owning the F word.
Okay, I love that. I love the play on the F word, right? Because the F word can be something great. And women, as well as any others, but women I think were looked at less, are definitely leaders. So thank you for that. Okay, so can you tell us when you realized you were a leader and what or who helped you to come to this realization?
For me, it was very young. I started working and supporting myself since I was 14 years old because my family financially, we were not sound. So my mom pawned her gold and sent me to certifications to be certified as an instructor in yoga, aerobics, and line dancing. Because of that, at an early age, I was exposed to lead group classes, moving a group class of 5 to 10 to moving a group of 100 to even up to 1,000. And through this journey, even though, I know it was really tough studying at the same time, leading, in a group of, in front of a group of audience, I polished myself to be more confident and knowing that if I were to stand on any stage in my life, whether is it my school or my work, besides the money, other than that, it allowed me to get out of my comfort zone, to stand there and lead so that everyone can be synchronized at the same time. So at that point, it was two things that came for me, Nicole. The first thing was self-leadership. Even though at that age, I didn't realize that was that. It was to able to lead myself to break through my own limiting belief mindset, because I was not rich, right? Not born with a silver spoon. So tendency of being bullied in school was very evident, because, I wasn't able to change my clothes or change my bags. Like even when I was having I have mean girls. So there were a bunch of mean girls in school, and they kind of bullied me. They I don't know if you know physical activities like PE sessions, when we're playing basketball or we're out there in the sun on the tracks. They will pull I remember there was one incident, they pulled my t-shirt, exposing my bra. And my bra, then they said, "Oh, you are wearing the same color again?" You see, I didn't have a lot of money. And for me, if I could afford a bra, I will buy the different types of the same type. If you know what that means.
Yes.
Because I need to save money, right? I can't buy like different brands, different styles. So that impacted my self-esteem. So that self-leadership was to ignore. And even though I was affected, but I told myself, I still need to bring food home and put money on the table and still lead a group class. And there must be something I can do for myself. So that was first one, self-leadership, right? And the second one was ability to speak up for myself. And through this journey, I was able to take a stand. And even though I was going through that difficult time of my life, I managed to still get jobs for my instructor business. I mean, as an instructor, I was able to multiply, and I understood multiplication of time. Back in those days when I was 14, 15, 16, I already understood if I could hire 5 instructors within the same hour, I could make more at the same time rather than just working and my hour for that time spent teaching someone. So instead of $80 an hour, I could make like $250 an hour just by supplying instructors to different locations to teach all at the same time. So that was the second part of the leadership that I discovered through this arduous journey.
Okay, thank you for that. I love that. And I love how you had this, you stepped up, at the age that you had to step up and did what you had to do, because even though that was what was needed, that doesn't mean that you had to choose to step into those shoes and fill that role. So that's really awesome. And I like what you said as far as leadership starts with self-leadership, and we may not realize it at the moment, but when we choose to fight through adversity and focus on our goal instead of focusing on the small things that may be in front of us or the distractions, we know we are true leaders, as well as how you chose to delegate, how you figured out that to be more successful, you had to delegate. Like figuring that out at a young age is really awesome. So thank you. Okay, so in my upcoming book, The Code of Leadership, The If-Then Process, I outline my experiences and lessons that have helped me to become a better leader with the intention of helping others do the same. Genecia, can you share what you would consider to be your code of leadership and why?
My code of leadership is alone you are strong, together we are unstoppable. Each of us is a island. But when we want to do things and we want to be unstoppable, we want to move forward and do bigger things, we must come together as one. Because when we are, we have a tendency to, in the olden times, I mean, not say olden times, but we have a tendency to think competition, we are bitchy, why should women should helping women. Usually there are these, what we call issues or mind blocks that happens for women because probably it has affected them throughout their journey. So being able to recognize these pieces and know that our culture here in Soul Rich Women, the community across Southeast Asia is able to stand for what we stand for, which is alone you are strong, together we are unstoppable, and whoever who's aligned with us will still stay aligned, and whoever who is not aligned with us will eventually drop out of the community and platform. So that in itself, to accomplish the effort, being fabulous, having freedom and financial independence.
Okay, thank you for that. I love that. And that is actually the mission that I serve with starting this podcast, is to show that collaboration is so much better than separation, than competition. We don't have to backbite. We don't have to be mean. So I love that. And I do agree that alone you can do something, but together we can do so much more. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Okay. So I believe all leaders experience failure. I myself, I don't like to consider them failures. I like to consider them lessons, take more of an optimistic view. But Genecia, can you share your view on failure and what it means to you?
I think success, first of all, isn't about glorious wins. It's about taking a step back and doing what is behind the scenes, what you do with others that matter the most. So for me, when I first started, now that the place that I am, I have gone through, not say multiple failures, but turning our mess into message, our disasters into something that we can spread the message. Because the foundation piece that Soul Rich Women was built on was that we wanted to help women to shortcut their success. We wanted them to really have it easier, especially here in Southeast Asia, to really grow their business and their mind. So for me, I have gone through failed partnerships. And usually when women say, oh, no, I failed in partnerships, or, oh, I'm not in a partnership that's not working out, I'm such a failure, or I don't think I'm good enough, or I think, why is it so stupid for me to make such a decision? So I think this one allows us to look at it clearly and say that, hey, I gave myself a second chance. If I didn't, I would not be able to build the cafe retail chain. I started with my partners. I invested in myself to grow this retail chain into 3 countries: Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and then we have 7 outlets. And we recently sold to a public listed company. If I had held back and said, oh, that's bullshit, my partnership back then failed, and my life is such a disaster, and I'm wallowing in self-pity, I will not even take the first step. And because of our strength, sometimes we don't see it, but we do have. My strength is in PR and marketing. And because of that, when all the partners came together, knowing each of our own strengths, we will be able to leverage on that. And once we leverage on that, we were a powerhouse, right? And that's why after 4 years, we sold to a public listed company. So this is an example of, sometimes the things that we go through are just incidents that allow us to be stronger, and knowing that what other women has done before and overcame in a community, and you've seen it for yourself, these examples serve as a hope and a beacon of light for women to know that they are not alone.
Okay, I love that. Thank you. I do agree. Success, like you said, is not about glorious wins. You also said that we have to give ourselves a second chance. And I think I'll go even further. Sometimes it's a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, however many chances we need to get to our goal, and be okay with things not turning out the way we thought it would, but learning the lessons so that we can keep on going and do better next time. So thank you.
For sure. Keep going until your bank account looks like a phone number.
Okay. I like it. With the area code, right? Okay. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Okay. So, Genecia, can you share one time you failed as a leader and tell us what you learned from that experience to help you become a better leader?
I think for me, it's the ability to not keep judging and looking at myself, because in Soul Rich Women, we have these 4 core values. If you are our leader, that means you are recognized as a leader on our platform, whom you're serving across Southeast Asia. We have this kind of community leader thing where you can serve other women, empower other women if you're online and with your knowledge and expertise. So when all the women come together, there are 4 key values that we always stand for, which is play win-win, leverage, don't judge, and then no gossiping. That means seek to clarify. So for me, all these years, because I was in the media, I have I was in the entertainment industry. I had exposure. I was on TV, on radio, in magazines. And because, I had a history where I was being bullied. So all these little pieces do accumulate over time, even though there are situations where, yes, we have self-leadership and things like that, but that adds on to baggages. So in 2006, when I won Miss Singapore, I had the opportunity to go through self-healing, a journey where I look deep and dig deep into who I really was and what do I really stand for and what my mission and purpose in life truly was. So it was not like I read a book or stuff like that. It was truly a self-discovery journey where I look into all this, what we call baggages that you think that is not there, but they are there because they probably left a scar or impression somewhere. So over the years in 2006, I started to do all this, what we call self-discovery, self-healing journey. And through these, I healed myself. So let me give you an example. Being the child, even in the childhood, like for example, like for me, we don't like to share things because now I'm running a platform where I need to share my resources, share the network, share my contacts, right? So if back in those days, because of my background when I was 14, I have a tendency to not want to share because to me, resources, every single penny that I've earned is mine, right? So standing on that stand, I don't like to share. And in 2006, when I went through that journey of self-healing, I realized that, I needed to share. And that left a mark in me, right? So I healed that part. So when I went for my Miss Singapore, I represent Singapore, and I went to Japan and China to compete. There were 90 delegates, and some of them borrowed a camera from me. Like, can I borrow a camera, Genecia? I would like to take some photos. I didn't bring mine, or my battery went out. If I had not done the healing before that, I would not want to share. I would still hold on to my camera and say, this is mine, or share it grudgingly, right? But through the entire journey, I realized that I no longer have that. When someone says, hey, can I borrow? Yeah, sure. No problem. Go ahead. So this part was really a very good awareness piece for me. So fast forward now, this season, over the last many, many years, I realized that, these transformation pieces as a person is as important as your transformation as a business person on the business skill side.
Yes.
So as a leader, it's not just, it's on the surface. It's all about, material and money and things. It's all about, are you able to dig deeper into yourself as a woman, as a leader, to know that the little things that you let go, the pain that people put you through. Look at it this way. If they hurt you before, doesn't mean you have to hurt them back. If they have backstabbed you or cyberbullied you before, doesn't mean you have to do the same thing to them as well, right? So it's all about letting go, and letting go. It's easy to lead when you're strong. How about the times when we are in fear, distress, in debts, or going to bankruptcy? Look, have faith, because there were two farmers who desperately needed rain, and both of them prayed for rain. But only one of them went out and prepared his fields to receive it. So which one do you think trusted God to send the rain, right? The answer is the one who prepared for it. So if you want to lead in a network like mine, we are now reaching out to 200,000 women. If I had not prepared my land for harvest or for the rain, I would not be able to harvest today as to having such good results. So leading through your journey of self-healing is really, truly important.
Okay, thank you for that. I love that. And I basically heard that you were in the past in a hurt place that led you to actually showing that through your actions, not wanting to share, having a mindset of lack, so to say. But when you were able to heal yourself, you now live in abundance, where you know that what is for you, and you can help another woman and still succeed at the same time. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Genecia, do you feel it's easier, harder, or requires the same effort to be a female leader in the entrepreneur ecosystem, and why?
Wow, this is a good question. I would say 10 years ago, in 2006, when I first started my business, it was harder, but now definitely so much easier because the internet has opened up. There are more and more women examples who are stepping up and being different, being unique, women leaders being nominated to be the CEOs of companies or in leadership positions. Definitely more role models do lead us to be able to see it easier. But at the end of the day, if you ask me, it still boils down to the woman herself, whether the woman is willing to not look at those people who judge us, but rather into those people who are willing to support us. That's what a community is really very important. Having like-minded women around you who is willing to support you. Like my parents are not entrepreneurs, for them becoming entrepreneur, it's negative. Like, I don't know about your culture over there, but for us in Southeast Asia, as a woman, it's a tradition to get married. If you're a girl, you're supposed to get married and then have kids and start another family of your own, and then really focus is on that. But now it's, okay, I mean, you can be an entrepreneur, you can do what you want. Like my parents, for more than 10 years, they were not supportive of my decision to become an entrepreneur. I graduated as an occupational therapist. If you don't know what's occupational therapist, it's something like physiotherapist. So to them, it's like, okay, you could be working in a hospital, you could be working in healthcare, stable job, stable income. Why do you want to do that? So risky. So it's to be able to look for like-minded people to support you. And I found my tribe. I found my community. And community are not followers. I just want to clarify that. You're not just your followers. They are people whom, when you needed emotional support, the F word being fabulous, having freedom and financial independence, they're there for you to, cheer you on and be there for you to bounce off ideas with each other. And most importantly, you are able to, build yourself up to find your own message, build a tribe and change the world. Because when a woman changes her life, her entire community benefits.
Okay, nice. Thank you for that. I love that. And I do agree with you that, the landscape is what it is. It is better than it used to be in the past, but there still can be challenges and roadblocks as with anything else. But I like how you said it boils down to the woman. Like, what are you choosing to focus on? Are you choosing to focus on the negative, or are you choosing to focus on the positive? Because that's what's really going to make the difference in how you see things and what you experience. So thank you. Okay, so productivity is a hot topic right now, as it should be.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. Many people want to know how to do more with less and be efficient. As a successful leader, this is a must. Genecia, do you have any productivity tips to share with our listeners?
Yes, I definitely have. Having come from a space right now where I run So Rich Woman, I have a team of 21 and they are virtual. That means they are not based locally in an office. They are out there in Philippines, in Ireland, Dublin, they're in Malaysia and different parts of the world, right? And how did that happen? A lot of women feel that they can't delegate or they can't grow. One of my biggest productivity tips is to outsource, is to work in your zone of genius, being able to outsource that 5 hours every single week of your time to focus on things that matters. In all businesses, as always, it's always 80% marketing and sales and 20% operations. So to do 80% sales and marketing, a lot of women are usually stuck because they can't give up. There are usually two scenarios. First is, I'm a solopreneur. I'm trying to do my business, or, I'm new. I'm a newbie. I don't have the money to hire someone. Okay, wait. Do you go to the hair salon? Do you do your manicure or pedicure? Do you do facials? Come on, girl. Do you do your eyelashes? Do you do your falsies? Do you buy makeup? Okay. So if you do that, do you have $50 every single week to spend to outsource this time so that you, in the 5 hours, can do what we call the profit-generating activities rather than cost-generating activities? And because of that, you will be able to scale your business or even get more customers in the same period of time. Remember, when I was 14 years old, I experienced what we call, I was poor. I didn't have the money to do anything I was supposed to do, but I was able to understand the multiplication of time. So likewise, fast forward today, if you can give up that $50 for your spa, for your manicure, pedicure, don't look at it like a painful thing. Some women sometimes they come up to me and say, oh, it's so painful to give up the $50, which is $250 a week. Oh, a month. I'm so sad. If you come from that space of lack, then you'll never be in the space of abundance. So come from a space where you know that for sure, girl, I'm going to be that lady of abundance, the lady with the F word. I own my financial independence. Even though I don't make a lot now, I start somewhere. Or even though I'm at my $1 million mark now, I'm growing, I'm scaling, I want to do more. Yep, continue to set your time aside to things that really matters. So this is what I have for outsourcing, which is the most important productivity tips, which is to delegate 80% of your to-do list to your assistant and ask your assistant or your team to help you to make more money.
Okay, thank you for that. I love that. And I love how you said work in your zone of genius, right? Because I feel like a lot of times we try to work in the areas that we're not great at, and all we do is prolong the journey as opposed to giving it to someone that is great in that area so that you can work where you're great, and then you're producing so much more in such a short period of time, just like you said. So thank you.
Yes, and a lot of women who, for us, because we are helping women to go from offline to online, getting clients online, a lot of the women, some of them are stay-at-home moms, so they feel that they are an IT dinosaur. That means they are not savvy, tech savvy. So whenever we say let's build your sales funnels, these sales funnels are like your salesperson online. You don't need to pay them salary. You don't need to pay them commissions, and they work for you 24/7, So if you want to have this limiting belief that I can't do technical stuff, then outsource to somebody so that you have the result of that salesperson, the online salesperson who can do the sales for you 24/7, So usually we help women to see the result, the outcome, so that when they think that it's too difficult or it's too much for them to delegate, that result will motivate them if usually they will do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Genecia, can you share an experience that blessed your leadership and tell us about the outcome or the takeaway that you learned?
Blessed my leadership, right?
Yes.
For me, my greatest blessing is to have mentor whom kick my ass. Yeah, I think that's the biggest, because for me, I have my own mind blocks and my own limiting beliefs at times. Even though we are fighting and we are building across Southeast Asia, I have my down times as well. I'm there to admit that I'm vulnerable at times. Am I good enough? Is Southeast Asia good enough? Can I do more? Sometimes we just put too much pressure or too much things. So a mentor can regulate and balance that. And I found this mentor. I've known him for more than 10 years, and I'm really blessed to have him. He was the one who taught me how to go online. I made my first $1 million in 2013. I crossed $10 million in the same year with the group. And then, so that pot of gold I made, I invested into a cafe retail chain. And during that time, he taught me, I need to do sales. I need to know how to sell, how to market, and not just do operational work, which is okay, but in business we should focus on that. So that kind of tweaked my mindset as well. And then, when I was still sitting on the fence thinking about Southeast Asia back in the years, he kicked my ass and said, look, let's buy the ticket, and just go. Stop thinking about it. So really, really having a mentor is key to your success. So how then do you find a mentor? So let me give you an example. First, you must find it on two bases. First, find a mentor whom you truly, truly respect. Because at the end of the day, what's the purpose of calling somebody, oh, you're my mentor? But you actually dig down when the door is closed, when nobody's watching, you're not listening. You're just like, oh, whatever. So 1 year in and 1 year out. So really look for somebody whom you truly have great respect for versus the negative part of you. So really very important. The second one is to look for someone with a direct result or indirect result that you have or that you want, right? Someone who has been there, done that, right? Has proven results. Like for us, I must see that the person has gone through shit. Like I've been through 6-figure debts and, almost bankrupt. And because of, that, my experience at a very young age, I'm not easily, like anybody who say I can be your mentor, I'm not easily swayed because I'm like, Who are you to say that you are my mentor or possibly to become my mentor? So for this person, James, his name is James Wee. So he's now now my partner in Soul Rich Woman, whom also I've known him for 10 years. He had gone through bankruptcy and he had made his $10 million and he is owner in a public listed company. That means he has shares inside, and I've seen him through his journey. And I think that, wow, somebody who has been through shit and still be able to lead himself as a leader, which is on your topic, right, Nicole? And he was able to lead himself as a leader. And the results that I wanted is that no matter what happens or shit hits the fence, he was able to rise to the occasion and bring the business from $1 million to $10 million and grew multiple businesses, and that really impressed me. So that in itself, the direct result and the indirect result, the mentor, is really so important. And therefore, if you were to choose someone, really look at the person. Is there someone whom has been there, done that, and not just like someone who has not done it before? I mean, because you want a track record, right?
Yes, thank you for that. I love that. And it's like, I think people think, right, because we are the helpers, we don't also need help, right? Coaches also need coaches, right? So it's so true. And I like how you said you need someone who has a relatable past as yours, like someone who's been where you've been so that they can understand how you feel, as well as someone that has already achieved what you aim to achieve, will give you the best insight that you need to get where you need to go. So thank you. Okay. So Genecia, can you offer our listeners the best advice you have as a leader or have ever received from a leader, and tell us how you've implemented it into your life?
Don't stay stagnant. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And don't think that you know it all. I think these are the few very important pieces that I have looked into and examined in my life every single time. Because as a leader, you think that, I'm already leading a team of 21, we are now in Southeast Asia. Okay, that's it. Or, I'm comfortable now. Ta-ta. No. You really need to... Yeah, I mean, that's the other mini-me that's talking, right? So you really must be able to catch yourself and say that, okay, it's not about saying doing more. It's more of, can I learn, be kind of humbling yourself and say, can I learn? Is there a way to upgrade my mindset, upgrade my knowledge, learn from people so that I continue to be better as a person, as a leader, and not be arrogant, right? So really, really, truly looking into these pieces of self-leadership where you are examining yourself and knowing that to step out of your comfort zone, to go towards the dreams that you've always wanted to achieve.
Okay, thank you for that. And I love that. It makes me think of there's always a higher mark that can be achieved. Like you said, if we're willing to look at ourselves and really self-reflect and look at our business and kind of figure it out, it's always a way to level up if we choose to go that route. So thank you. Okay, so you made it to the finish line. How do you feel?
Really good. Really awesome.
Great. Okay, so Genecia, I want to thank you again for being our guest on She Leads podcast, Leadership Empowerment for Women of Color. But before we part, do you want to give our listeners your contact information or mention any events, products, services, and or ventures that they would benefit from knowing about?
Well, if you are looking into a platform into Southeast Asia, knowing women from different parts of the world, then do go to soulrichwoman.com, SOULRICHWOMAN, not EN, MAN.com. Or our handle for social media is soulrichwoman. SOULRICHWOMAN. And then if you want to look for me, my name is Genecia, spelled as GENECIA, Alluora, ALLUORA.
Okay, thank you, Genecia. We appreciate your insight today.
Thank you for having me on your show, Nicole. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed this interview with Genecia, and I hope you did as well. I agree with Genecia's notion of the importance of self-leadership. Mindset is the key to leading ourselves effectively. So we must first control our minds if we aim to control our reality. Self-leadership helped Genecia break through her limiting mindset in an effort to be and do better. As Genecia mentioned, we need to be more confident and operate outside of our comfort zones if we want to successfully face what life presents to us. A quote by Maria Montessori reads, "The real preparation for education is a study of oneself. The training of the teacher is something far more than a learning of ideas. It includes the training of character. It is a preparation of the spirit." I admire Genecia's understanding of the requirements needed to reach the next level and her decision to seek education and use outsourcing to continue to grow herself and her business. In Genecia's quest for success, she realized that it is more efficient to seek help from others to do more with less, as opposed to trying to do everything ourselves. As Genecia stated, we are not an island, which means we need people to make things happen. Being able to relinquish control is not easy. So it is definitely admirable that Genecia was able to do so as a teenager. According to Genecia, we may not choose the right people initially. However, we must not let this deter us, as those that are down for the cause will come if we continue to seek them. I can relate to Genecia's experiences with being bullied, as I experienced the same. I love how Genecia turned this negative experience into a positive outcome by choosing to continue forward while dealing with the adversity she experienced due to not having the same financial background as her peers while growing up. Genecia used her experiences to gain the strength to focus on teaching others how to live a life of financial freedom. As Genecia suggested, we must turn our mess into our message. This is the notion that I used when I started She Leads Podcast. She Leads Podcast is my effort to combat the negative experiences I had with women during my life. Instead of allowing my experiences to make me bitter and mean towards others, I used it to show that love and collaboration is so much better and creates a win-win situation for all involved.
Nicole Walker's takeaway for this week.
Genecia mentioned the importance of understanding sales and knowing how to sell. As Genecia suggested, it is important to market and not just do operational work. This is an area that I can grow in, as operations is my strength and sales is not. I will make it my business to respect the importance of sales so I can be a better salesperson for my business. I now understand that operating in excellence will only get you so far, as sales is needed to close the deal. A Chinese proverb reads, "Be not afraid of growing slowly. Be afraid only of standing still."
And now we have Nicole Walker's Leadership Challenge of the Week.
My leadership challenge for you would be to think about the one thing that you can take away from this episode and adopt into your life. I know it's hard to absorb too much information at one time, and it's even harder to try and implement too many changes at once. When I attend a training or listen to podcasts, I aim to walk away with at least one thing that stuck out to me and one way that I can change as a result. I challenge you to do the same. Don't forget to subscribe to She Leads Podcast for first access to future episodes. And also like and share this episode of She Leads Podcast entitled Take a Stand with Genecia Alluora. Thanks. And until next time, be empowered and empower on.